Here's game Riven 306. Let's try d5. We'll just play a regular Slav this time instead of trying to get into a Grinfeld. Oh, should I play my Winawer gambit here? He's allowing it. Why not? He's a higher rated player, so it's always a little bit risky to play something like this. Maybe he will know how to defeat it. But well, that would be interesting in itself. So this is pretty normal so far. Yeah, so this is one of the main lines. And knight f3 is next, is the normal move. He defended he defended the knight with the queen. Yeah, the knight's hanging. That's right. I'm sorry. The normal move is knight back to g3, and then I develop my knight, and then knight f3. So he defended directly. Can't I pin the knight? There is a check, but I can take the knight with my queen, so the check does not, and it still defends the bishop, so the check does not win material. And if he checks over here, I can take with my bishop. So he just defends, but isn't this like a disaster? Right, well, I could give up the bishop pair right away and mess up his pawns. I think that's actually the best move here. Just go after those messed up pawns. Let's see. What can he play? Can't play bishop to f4. He can play knight to f3. That would be a normal move. I'll just grab the pawn then. So, well, it's a good opening for catching your opponents by surprise, apparently. This is a better result than you usually get out of the Winawer gambit. Usually your black is a little bit worse out of the Winawer, but playable and interesting position. So that's why I keep playing it. Also because people screw up so much. Yeah, so I'm a pawn up. It's not the world's best pawn. Yeah, so he immediately undermines my pawn. And it liberates his bishop, so that's a good decision. He's got better development, so this is a situation where, let's see, can I defend the pawn? Not so easily. Let's go ahead and stay a pawn up and see if I can survive my lack of development. So, yeah, white has the bishop pair and better development, so white definitely has compensation for the pawn. And now I want to just castle and get out of the center before... it's still not quite an endgame. There's 2 rooks and 3 minor pieces. So this is more like a middle game without the queens. And king safety is still important. That's the distinction I want to make there. So I want to get my bishop out of the way, castle, and then develop the last minor piece here. And he wants to develop with tempo. And so I'm not that far behind in development, it looks like. He got all his pieces out and he got castled, and I'm still 1 step behind. Yeah, so he's going to try and exploit that difference for all it's worth. Let's see, if I defend the bishop, you know, he's threatening a discovered attack on the bishop. So if I just develop the knight. Is there any great discovered attack, though? Where can the bishop go? Boom, 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 boom. I think anywhere the bishop goes, I can either... oh, he could take a pawn, I guess. Let's move my bishop with tempo then. And then play knight g to e2. Okay. That's probably good placement for his rook there. Preparing to double and defending along the second rank. Now I can play bishop to c. Yeah, he's allowing that. Bishop to c5 to force a trade of the dark squared bishops, and he wouldn't have the bishop pair advantage anymore. Okay, and now I'm hitting his bishop, so let's see, he's got to relocate that. Didn't have so many squares. I could go to f5, or I could go back to e2. And f5 I could even kick it. Yeah, g6 might not be a bad move there. g6 gives the king some lift, and it weakens his pawn, but I can, and weakens the knight. But I can play king here. And anyway, he doesn't have a dark squared bishop. That's the point I was about to make about g6. It weakens the dark squares, but he doesn't have a dark squared bishop anymore. Let's see, are there other tactics here? So g6, he moves the bishop, I guess, and I play king g7 to defend the knight. Or I move the knight. Where's his bishop going? Here, here, here. This diagonals out. Goes back there. Yeah, he doesn't have any great squares for the bishop either. Ah, he attacks my knight. That's interesting. So a little tempo move. Can I move this knight with tempo? Yeah, he chases my knight away so he has a square for his bishop. Makes sense. So I could take his bishop, he could take my knight, but then I have this backwards pawn here he can attack. So I think it's better for me to move the knight somewhere. Maybe here. And see where he wants to go with his bishop. He wants to take, okay. And this should be okay, an even game with the same piece distribution. We both have 2 rooks and 1 knight, and I'm a pawn up. So let's hit that knight. See where it wants to go. Goes there. So he's got this square. Let's pile up on that square. Double the rooks on the E file. Yeah, so is there a tempo move I have with the knight? If I could move the knight with check, that would be nice. I could pick up one of those rooks. But as it is, if I move the knight, oh, I could play knight takes c5 here, defending my rook, right? Knight takes c5, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes. And if he doesn't, knight takes c5 also threatens to take the rook. So I think that's a good move here. If he takes the knight, I take the rook. If he takes the rook, I take back with the rook, still threatening to take his rook. He takes again, I take, and I'm just a knight endgame, and I'm 2 pawns up, knight and pawns. Well, let's see if he finds a tricky way out of it. There may be other ideas, but he can't, oh, he could defend with the king. He blocks with the knight. So, can I play knight to e3 and win something that way? Knight to d3 hits his rook. Plays here attacking my knight. And I'll take his knight. Okay, he resigned. Cool. So I got a win against a pretty high-rated player there. Anyway, I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.